Hello, my wonderful viewers. Welcome to my platform. This is Linda's TV show. If it is your first time of coming across this channel and you like what you see after watching, please subscribe, put on your notification bell, set it to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to get notified each time I upload a new video, even those without notification. Here we react to all forms of videos, international and local. Every Saturday by 2 p.m. we have our interaction section. You are free to call in to air your opinion about the happenings in our society. Invite your friends, share my videos with your families and colleagues. Do not keep this information to yourself. Myself, I will be sitting down here to watch this video together with you from the beginning to the end. Then we'll go to the comment section and leave our comments, our opinion about the video we watch constructively.
I'm ready to work.
Okay, Professor Soludo, first let's start by congratulating you on this, achievement. And also to congratulate your party, Akuga, as you guys call it, to educate those of us who are not from Anambra State. But very quickly, expectations are very high. You've talked about the Soludo solution. You've been on that since 2009. Our mutual friend, Sidon Adinova, granted an interview the other day, and he said, you are the most prepared governor ever in the history of Nigeria. Are you really prepared for this job? And what are you bringing to the table?
2009, I applied for the job. I would say at that time, reluctantly. I would say at that time, I was literally, dragged into to contest. But then after going around the state at that time, and going around the 326 wards, then campaigning and getting a feel of the nature of the underdevelopment challenges. It turned out from being a reluctant person trying to volunteer for public service at that level to almost becoming a passion, a lifetime passion, to really be able to get down to work and help in some very important ways. And for those years, I have reflected time and again on what these issues are, what the problems are, what the challenges are, and they're quite enormous. They can be quite daunting, I must say, as you've rightly said, in terms of the magnitude of the challenges. But I have a single-minded conviction that they are not insurmountable. We can do something about it. And it's not just about me as a person. The key resource that we have happen to be the people of Anambra State. Their resourcefulness, their commitment, their love for the homeland, and their enterprise is their biggest resource we have. And if we mine this appropriately by mobilizing all the talents and the treasure that the people embody, we can really turn Anambra into whatever we want it to be. We have a blueprint. And like I said at the inaugural speech, I chaired the Vision 2070 document, and where we try to see Anambra in 50 years' time. And I also put together my manifesto, Soludo Solution, a People's Manifesto for Greater Anambra. And then you have the Transition Committee report. These three documents provide, if you like, a compendium of both the summary of where we are, and where we need to be, and what we need to do to get there. And so, in a sense, for me, both from practical experience, being a village boy who is always in the village, and traveling around the state myself, studying this myself, feeling it every day, I think I fully understand where we are and where we need to be. Where we need to be in terms of building that livable and prosperous homeland. And what actually also we need. The resources are paltry, I must say, almost zero, if you like. But we are undaunted, as I said in my inaugural speech. We will get water out of the stone. with the people working with us, mobilizing the people to work with us, we will be able to get that water out of the stone and to make a very important beginning. Anambra has all the potentials, but also equally matched with the challenges as you highlighted. So the short answer is yes. My first sentence of my inaugural address was that I applied for the job. And, and the people have hired me to do the job, and I have come in my own little way, humble way, prepared, but not, I don't know everything. The people, like I said, happen to be the major resource, with everybody chipping in their own advice, volunteering what to do, having their civic responsibilities as citizens, paying their taxes, their levies, helping to clean up the place. I think we will go very, very far in building that livable and prosperous homeland. So I am prepared. And I believe also the people are.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Let's talk some more about those potential challenges. I mean, you referred to in your inauguration speech to the limited financial base. You also referred to the peculiar structure of our system that we operate here in Nigeria and how that impacts a subnational state like Anambra. And there's also the issue of security, which you also referred to, which can tend to impede whatever progress any administration tries to make. How will you address that? And then the fourth issue, already we've seen some kind of resistance to reforms, which is, it always rears its ugly head, doesn't it? Like you called for a halt to the collection of cash payments, and there have been reports of some people attacking those who are not paying the 200 naira or what have you. So how do you intend to surmount these obstacles?
Well, these are not all the things that we're going to discuss fully. Answering each of those questions requires like almost a book. Nigeria, for starters, Nigeria, as we all know, has a peculiar federal structure. And that's what I refer to as a unitary federalism. I mean, almost all the powers, most of the powers, essential powers, are concentrated on the exclusive list, so to speak. And literally everything, power generation. And I thank the National Assembly in an attempt to amend the Constitution for taking power out of the exclusive list and all of that. So even as a state governor, you couldn't independently promise your people power, to have power to them. But hopefully if that is put in the concurrent list, then we'll be able to do something about it. The fiscal structure of the country itself, even the headroom to generate your own independent revenue, a whole lot happen to be put at under the exclusive list. The company income tax is in the exclusive list and all kinds of things. So, yes, we have a peculiar federalism. On security, like you said, the governor is the chief security officer, but basically all the security agencies are federal institutions, as it were. But like I said in my address, we will try creatively. I mean, I understand a little bit about how the system is structured and how the system currently works. And but with some creativity and some collaboration and cooperation with the federal government, I believe there is, for us, is to maximize the limited headroom. I mean, if we are here and there is still headroom here, I mean, ours is to attempt at least, however short the headroom might be, let's first of all maximize what is available, in the hope also that over time the headroom will also be extended a little bit better. So first of all is to maximize the existing opportunities that exist within the confines of the law in terms of what we can still do within the concurrent legislative list and given the available resources that we have. We're going to explore all kinds of creative means of even revenue itself beyond the usual. so to speak, to be able to collect revenues to do this. So I made that point. Within the federal structure, it's not perfect. It's a work in progress. And together, all Nigerians will work to continue to move towards what I call a more perfect union. No society ever has a perfect society, a perfect union. But we will continue to work towards that. Now, in terms of, and so that addresses also the issue of resource base. There are all those constraints and challenges, as you mentioned, almost like a poultry resource base. But we're going to ramp up internally generated revenue. And we'll also be, exploiting all kinds of other financing options, including project finance, development finance, and all manner of other federal institutions and their interventions and so on. We'll maximize on all of those. And then also building on the people themselves. Again, the people of Anambra, very, very resourceful. Their investments, inward investments, because it's not just government investment that will put Anambra on the map as we desire. Private investment is going to be the key. And we're prepared to provide that environment, enabling environment, to be able to do that. I had some people in the documentary that George put together. If you listen to 3, 4 of them, each of them mentioned road infrastructure and so on. And we were declaring a state of emergency on roads, getting touts out of the road, and so on and so forth, decongesting the traffic, addressing their health challenges, cleaning up the place, and making it green. There are quite a whole lot of them that don't cost an arm and a leg. But we're going to get started. I mean, we're already getting started with what we've done in the last 4 days, working days that we've had. And then you talked about the resistance to reform. That is normal, that is to be expected. Actually, I foresaw what you just reported in my inaugural speech, that these people, these revenue touts and the park mafia and so on, would resist. I put it's in my inaugural address. So when I hear them, going to fight back and so on, it's not surprised in any form. But we are determined, we are focused on this, and we must rid Anambra of touts and illegal operators. Law and order happen to be the very first essence, at the foundation of anything, of every society. And we must restore law and order. It is estimated that about 35–40% of people who come to shop in Onitsha and environs have relocated elsewhere, or going elsewhere to shop. And we want to return Onitsha to its glory, so that shopping around in Onitsha and in Anambra in general will be a pleasurable experience. Commerce is the base, the primary base of economic life here in the state. And we must do everything to make shopping and living in Anambra a pleasurable experience. For it to be a livable state, we must get this. The bad, the 0.01%, 0.00 whatever percent, just an infinitesimal minority of the people cannot hold the entire society to ransom. And we are determined, we're putting we have the structures now in place, and we'll unleash them if they want whatever where they want it. We're prepared to meet them in the street and liberate the common man in the street. This government is about the common man.
Great, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for that. And I remember the good old days where my dad would talk me in the car, and my siblings, and we'll have to drive all the way from Warri to Onitsha because we wanted to get some school items. But those days are not there any longer. But I'd like to ask you about Okpoko. You visited Okpoko, and I saw the pictures and the footage out of Okpoko, and I was sad. You need a massive urban regeneration to happen in Okpoko. Where will you raise the money to do that? That's one. Number two will be about, you called stakeholders to the table as regards insecurity. You called IPOP and you said those that are fomenting trouble in the state should stop. How are those conversations going? Have they, responded to the call? And how can we stop the case of insecurity in Anambra State? But at first, Okpoko, massive urban regeneration. How are we going to get the money to do it? Because that will cost a lot. It's been years of neglect.
You're absolutely right. Quite frankly, when I talk about Okpoko, when I visited the place, at certain times I struggled to hold back, tears. I became really very emotional several times during that visit, to see the conditions in which people live with heaps of, waste, mountains, with the height running into meters high. I climbed some of them. And the people, living next to it, and you couldn't even breathe standing there. But there are people living just beside them, and that's the air that they breathe every minute of the day, and shops all around the place. It's really, yes, to answer your question directly, it's going to cost an arm and a leg to even clean up the place. Just cleaning the place. And we're going to begin. But the important thing is the determination to begin. We cannot, for fear of the humongous thing, and then decide to say, oh, well, it's too big, it's too... I can understand why it's been left that way. Probably because of the cost, probably because the challenges seem almost too humongous to even try to dare. But we're determined. Step by step, one step at a time, we will, for example, the entire drainage system of the Onitsha metropolis into the River Niger has been blocked. People have built up houses along the drainage channel. It's completely filled up, 15-meter deep drainage, 15 meters. Completely filled up. All the drainage ways, gutters, and so on and so forth in Onitsha, most parts of the state, completely full. And we're going to start off probably next week or thereabout. We'll probably devote about 2-3 days in the state to just open up, clean up the gutter, just get them out, and then get them to the first place of where we would put them on our operation, Clean Up Anambra. To start with, so that the next heavy rain is not going to get people, because when it rains now, much of Onitsha is flooded, and people die every year due to these flooding places, and people, carrying cars, if you see the speed of the flood, turning vehicles, and people dying on a yearly basis. And this we're determined to solve, even if we got to raise whatever resources and however, and we're already working hard at it about financing options on how we get there. But we must make a beginning. We'll also be appealing to even the international community, the federal government, as it were, and then, of course, our own people here. And I believe between those three parties, us, federal government, and the international community, the donor and development agencies, with whom we'll probably be meeting in the next week or so, I think we're going to do something. There are basics, like I said, cleaning up the place, desilting this, which is going to be humongous, and then basics of water, electricity, even if it is solar-powered street lighting, so that people they are in darkness, total darkness, forgotten there. Over 1 million people trapped there, so to speak. For me, my heart bleeds, coming from a humble background and seeing poor people left in that kind of state. As I look in the faces of the children there, I could see potential professors, potential engineers, doctors, medical doctors, potential president, potential anything. They could be the people that will rescue the world of anything, technology, innovation, experts, and so on. But if we don't rescue them now, the world loses. And that's why I'm very, very passionate about that place. A system is as strong as its weakest link. And Oboko and the environs seems to be that weakest link in terms of the chain. It's the biggest urban slum in the southeast. And certainly, I don't know of any bigger urban slum in Nigeria. I don't know of any. But it's quite huge. And we will give it a go in the next several months, the next 1 year, 2 years. We're not saying it's going to be fixed in one day. It's going to be a journey, but there is a trajectory. And our commitment is that every month, every 6 months, we will evaluate progress. And not only Oboko, we're also going to have a regeneration commission on our major urban areas, our urban renewal agenda, starting in the first instance with the 4 key ones: the Greater Onitsha urban, Oka urban, Nnewi urban, and the Ekulobia urban. These are the 4 oldest urban areas designated as urban centers, even in the time of Chief Chukuma in the old Anambra state. So we'll start from there as model. And once we're able to do that, we'll now take the template and begin to replicate this all over the state. But yes, it's going to be quite expensive. But the important thing is that we start off. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one major step. And we're prepared to take even 5, not even 1 at a time.
Okay, Prof. All of that is nice. But beyond Oboko and the urban regeneration plan, you know that one famous tradition in our democracy is to talk about 100 days in office. Now, in 100 days from the point of your inauguration as swearing in as governor, what are those quick wins that you can point to, that you expect to point to, so that when we say, oh, it's been 100 days since Governor Soludo assumed office, this is what he has been able to do? And secondly, how much of a distraction for now is that cat fight that upstaged your assumption of office, your swearing-in ceremony? The cat fight between Osodieme, the wife of the...
Which one?
Osodieme.
Which one?
The fight between Ebele Chukwu Obiano and Bianca Ojuko. I consider it a cat fight. Must be some kind of distraction to you. Those 2 issues.
Okay. Well, I come to you 100 days. You raised about 100 days, and you talked about the cat fight. And I think, let me start with the second one.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.